One Girl's Fight for Education. Malala states there's a moment when you have to choose whether to be silent or stand up. Malala's story is one of the best examples of bravery and perseverance despite the harsh circumstances she's thrown into. Instead of being detoured by the Taliban's cowardly attack on this 15-year-old girl, she used it to strengthen her desire to empower women's rights to education. According to Biography and Context, Malala Yousafzai was born July 12, 1997 in Mingora, Pakistan. Her name was chosen by her father, meaning grief-stricken, and also refers to a regional folk hero. At a young age, Malala was very intelligent. Her father made sure that Malala received the education she needed in the subjects that best fit her. When Malala turned 11 years old, she started a blog under the name Gul Makai to protect her identity. The blog described her daily life in her hometown district known as Swat and the concerns she had with the changes happening all around her. Biography and Context also stated Malala had altered her anger with the Taliban by spreading the message to anyone who listened that girls should have the right for an education. When Taliban had dictated that there would be no education for girls, that had not stopped Malala. She would hide her school books under her clothing and dress in everyday clothes rather than her school uniform to disguise her destination. Malala was profiled part of a New York Times documentary on Taliban's closing of schools and other dilemmas. This led to an uproar to the Taliban and caused an awful shooting. The Taliban developed as a major political and military force in 1996, where they were supported by Pakistan and even aided in the hiding of Osama bin Laden. According to the International Journal of World Peace, after 9/11, Pakistan sided with the U.S. government, which meant that they had to go against war with the Taliban. This raised terror on the country. The Taliban remain an important contributor to the Pakistan government, which is why they are such a power of women's freedom, especially when women's freedom to education. According to the Washington Post, the Swat Valley has finally returned to peace after the Taliban killed nearly 2,000 people during 2012 when Malala was shot. According to Academic One File, October 9, 2012 will be a day Malala will never forget. She was on her way to school in a Dina, which is what they called a white Toyota truck with 3 parallel benches, one along each side and one in the middle. Malala described the area as crammed with 20 schoolgirls and 3 teachers. The truck was stopped by a young bearded man in a light-colored clothes, searching for Malala. They had demanded for a girl named Malala. All the girls looked at her in silence because she was the only girl with her face not covered. Then the unthinkable happened. Shots were fired 3 times in a row, the first one hitting Malala into her left eye socket and out her left shoulder. The other 2 hit the girls sitting next to her. Malala was immediately flown to a hospital in Birmingham, England for more medical attention because the military hospital was not able to do further treatment. After the whole horrible nightmare that happened, Malala's damage was done emotionally and physically. According to CNN News, Malala has to endure more surgery to place the missing piece of her skull and fix the hearing in her left ear. As for her face, it's slightly deformed, but she is proud of her appearance because of what she stood up for. The Taliban has set threats to Malala, saying if she would come back, we will certainly kill her. Malala was just so eager to go back home, but her family forbid her because of her life would be endangered. As for the publicity, she had become an influence all over the world, meeting a president, receiving awards, and much more. Throughout Malala's time in the spotlight, she has done nothing but change the world in a way many can only dream of doing. Malala has used her voice to change the lives of so many people, some of which were the Nigerian schoolgirls. In Nigeria, there were over 200 teens that were kidnapped from their school by an Islamic group that goes by Boko Haram. Explained in the article, Malala, the girl who survived a Taliban shooting, is in Nigeria to support its kidnapped girls. After Nigeria dedicated a day for Malala Day, she made the decision to travel to Nigeria and speak out on behalf of the Nigerian schoolgirls and their families. While in Nigeria, Malala drastically changed the way the kidnapping case. On her visit, she spoke to the president, people of Nigeria, and the families of the kidnapped. Malala left Nigeria with hope and strength and gave the government the push they needed to fight harder for these young girls. With Malala's fame came the spotlight on the issue Malala had continued to fight for. Malala wanted all girls to be able to receive an education. This mission was spread through the country by many well-known people, one of which being Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. On December 10, 2012, Hillary spoke on the topic of women like Malala, who risked their lives in order to get an education. She continued to speak on the importance of an education and how much better off we all would be if every person received an education, as quoted by Hillary Clinton in the article Prepared Remarks via Videotape of Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton's subject. Because when men and women have the same opportunities to an education, societies are better off, economies flourish, public health improves, and democracies become more stable. By just one person, such as Malala, gaining the courage to stand up and speak out on the importance of education, it becomes to start a domino effect. Malala's impact on the world was one recognized by so many, this causing her the ability to not only be nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, but selected to be awarded the prize. As stated in the article Malala's Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize is one of the world's prestigious awards. Since 1901, it has been given to people who promote or support world peace. Past winners include Martin Luther King Jr. and 4 U.S. presidents. Also explained in the article Malala's Prize, Malala was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize as well as Kailash Satyarthi. They will share both the honor of the prize as well as the $1.1 million cash prize. Malala is the youngest to ever receive the Nobel Peace Prize. As stated in the article Malala's Prize, Malala Yousafzai receives one of the world's biggest honors. Malala takes this award with honor but explained that this was only the beginning and that her mission is still far from over. According to Pinotti's article about Mill's defense of free expression, all views should be expressed, heard, and taken seriously into account. This quote states that all opinions and voices should be heard and taken seriously because everyone should be allowed an opinion. Mill states that only in a society with nonconformity, social progress is present. He goes on to explain that without individualism, social stagnation happens, which diminishes human beings' superiority to animals. The greater good is served by allowing individuals the freedom to do as they please, so long as their actions do not harm others. If we apply this to Malala's story, then we can conclude that her ability to speak out about the freedom of education was just, and the actions of the Taliban against her were unjust. Malala states, "They thought the bullets would silence us, but they failed, and then out of that silence came thousands of voices. Let us pick up our books and our pens. They are the most powerful weapons. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world." Despite the Taliban's threats, Malala remains determined to bring rights for education to women all over the world. Malala's bravery to speak up about the freedom of education brought her pain and suffering, but ultimately offered global attention so that her cause would be heard and understood worldwide.